So I went ahead and ranked every single Binding of Isaac challenge. Now each of these ratings I'm going to give out here are based on 3 different criteria. How to unlock the challenge, how much you're going to struggle actually doing the challenge, and what the challenge actually unlocks. First challenge up here is the Pitch Black challenge. So this is the one where it's basically you have a whole bunch of curses just going to mom's foot. It's a very short, very easy run. The only thing that's really annoying is just having to deal with the curses. But honestly, that's just like a normal run you're doing anyways. But what it actually unlocks is the rune Hagalaz. I mean, the rune is good. The rune is fine. It's not fantastic. It can be helpful if you don't have bombs and just to clear out a room, maybe with a whole bunch of rocks to maybe get a crawl space. But other than that, it's not really that important. The average is around a 4, but my own rating is going to go right here. And basically, just do it if you want. If you want Hagalaz, go for it. If not, it's not a big deal, but it's a good thing to have. Next up is Highbrow, the one where you are basically just poop. You are shit incarnate. So you have E. coli, you have number 1, you have butt bombs. It's a very easy run. You're just going to mom's foot again. It's very short, very easy. But this one actually unlocks Yera, which is crazy. So it's an easy run. You have it straight up. You don't have to do anything to unlock it. It unlocks Yera. You better do it right now or else I'm gonna come find you. Go do it now. Go do it right now. Alright, next up here is Head Trauma, the one where you have soy milk, you have tiny planets, so all the shots are going around your head all fun like. But again, this one's only going to mom's foot. A lot of these early challenges only go to mom's foot. Because this one's a little weird, a little funky, if you're not used to using tiny planet, especially with soy milk, it's such a weird synergy to get used to. It can be a bit of a struggle, it's really not too bad. This one actually unlocks Awaz. So before Repentance, I would have said Awaz isn't that good of an unlock, but now that they changed it so that Awaz and the shovel can actually spawn a crawl space if you do it on a certain place on the ground, it is very, very good to unlock. I would throw this into do if you want, just because it's a little bit of a struggle. I would do it if you feel like you have the time, but I do feel like there are other challenges that would take precedent over this one. Next up is Darkness Falls. This one actually unlocks Dagaz. So this one here, you actually have to unlock it. It's not there outright like some of the others we just talked on. You have to beat Mom's heart 11 times and have Eve. It's an easy thing to do. You're going to get it eventually. But again, this run is basically just going to Satan. You just start with a whole bunch of damage items. Obviously, no treasure rooms, which is the only struggle. Again, you do have to do something to unlock it, which is kind of annoying. The rune is good. It's an easy run. I would go ahead and do it if you have it, but it's not the end of the world if you don't. Next up is the Tank Challenge. This is the one where you just have a shit ton of health and you're only going to mom's foot. You're very slow. I think you have 0.25 speed as you walk through everything with like 7 or 8 health. It's very easy. It's a very short run. To unlock the challenge, you just have to have 7+ hearts in any run ever. This one actually unlocks Ansas, which is a really, really good rune to get. I would definitely throw it in Do It You Won't. It's not the top best thing to do in my opinion, but it is very, very good. I would recommend getting it. Next up here, we got Solar System. Solar System is the one where you cannot shoot and you only have those flies going around your head you can use to do contact damage. It can be a little bit of a struggle if you're not used to using orbitals like that to do actual damage, but at the end of the day, it's not too bad. It's pretty easy to do, and you're only going to mom's foot. It unlocks Perthrow. You're gonna do it. You gotta do it. Perthrow is one of the best runes. I would put it above Yera. I would put it up there. It's crazy. It's really, really good, so go do it. Okay, so now that we've had all these good things you want to unlock with challenges, let's give it a step back and let's humble the challenges a bit, because the next one here is Suicide King, which is the one where you have the Ipecac and my reflection shots. You're actually going to Isaac, so you are going a bit far with this run. I mean, it is kind of a struggle to do the run if you're not used to using Ipecac and my reflection, because again, that is a very weird combination to have. You may be asking yourself, hey, what do you unlock for doing the Suicide King run? You unlock the Suicide King card. I don't think I've ever used that card correctly. Ever. I really don't recommend doing this run at all unless you're just looking to have a good time. It's just not the best thing to have, so I would definitely throw it down here and don't do it unless you really just want to do it. Alright, next up, challenge number 8, Cat Got Your Tongue. So this is the one where you're actually Guppy, but you're blindfolded, so you can't shoot any shots. But you have the Guppy's head, you have the Guppy's hairball to do damage. So it's a pretty challenging run compared to all these other ones, because Guppy's hairball is such a weird orbital to use compared to a lot of other things in the game. But this one does unlock Algis, which is a decent rune to get. Now, is it worth the sweat and nerves you have to do to complete this run? Maybe not. It is definitely a good rune to have. The challenge of the run can be a little bit difficult. I would throw it kind of in the middle here. Next up, we have challenge number 9 with Demo Man. You start with Dr. Fetus with the remote detonator. It's a really easy run if you ask me. You're just using bombs to blow everything up. You can even skip rooms if you want. It can go pretty fast. So this one here actually unlocks Chaos Card. Chaos Card is a very, very good unlock to have. Do you need to have it? Not necessarily. Probably that middle tier in between mid and high. Yeah, I'll definitely throw it right there and do it. Do it. Probably. Next up here, we have the 10th challenge of Cursed. Cursed is the one where you have all mapping, but all the doors are actually those cursed doors, so you do damage whenever you walk through them. It's a pretty easy short run. You're just going to mom's foot for this one. You have all the mapping you ever want. The only problem is maybe sometimes it takes away your map with a curse. That is kind of annoying when that happens, but it's still pretty easy to get through either way. So I would probably throw this one in Do It If You Want, because it actually unlocks credit card, which credit card can be very, very good. It can be used for devil deals, obviously the shops as well. It's a pretty easy run to do. I would do it if you want, but it's really kind of up to you. Next up here, we got challenge 11, Glass Cannon. So this is the one where you have Epic Fetus and Loki's horns going to Satan. This one here is pretty easy. As long as you're not getting confused by the Loki's horns things happening and you account for that whenever you're doing things, it is pretty easy. Now to unlock it, it's a little different from all these other ones. You actually have to complete another challenge and you have to defeat a certain enemy and have a certain character. It is just kind of annoying to unlock. Now what you unlock from this is actually the most useless item in the game, the rules card, which does absolutely nothing. It just tells you chub like smoke. This one I apparently didn't throw at the very bottom. I threw it very close to the bottom just because it can be a fun challenge to do, but it's really not a struggle at all. It doesn't unlock anything cool. I don't recommend getting that unlock unless you just really like the rules card for whatever reason. All right, next up here, challenge 12, When Life Gives You Lemons. This one here is actually the one where it gives you Martyr, 9 volt, and the lemon active item. This is a very, very easy run. Just ditch the lemon as soon as you find any other active item. So again, this is just going to mom's foot as well. So as soon as you find any other active item, the run is basically over. But what does it unlock? It unlocks Card Against Humanity. If you find a large room to throw this in, you're most likely gonna find Petrified Poop. So I would throw this in a pretty high priority to get unlocked pretty early. So I'm gonna be throwing it up here in the between middle and high. Do you have to do it right now? No, but you definitely should. Next up is the Beans Challenge. The Beans Challenge here is actually you're blindfolded, so you can't shoot anything. You only have butt bombs. You have 99 bombs, and you have the Bean active item, the best active item in the game. But this is a very easy run. You're only going to mom's foot, but really you just use the butt bombs to kind of deal damage to everything in the room. Use the bean to do damage occasionally. Obviously, don't go for devil deals. Don't give up your hearts. You're just kind of going through it and blowing everything up and going between rooms if they're too hard. It's pretty easy. Now, what it unlocks is a pretty good trinket, the burnt penny. Whenever you pick up a penny, you have a chance to drop a bomb, which is very good. It does help with resources a lot. Debatable. I threw it in the mild unlocks here, but I would definitely do it if you want. If you like the trinket, if you feel like the trinket will help you out a bunch, I would definitely go for it. I put it middle of the road. I don't think it's the best trinket to have. I do think it is a good trinket, don't get me wrong. But compared to a lot of this other stuff, I think there are better things to unlock. So I'm going to throw it at Do It If You Want for now. So next up here, challenge 14, it's in the cards. So this is the one where you actually start with the starter deck and the deck of cards. You get a whole lot of cards throughout the whole run. It's pretty easy. You're only going to mom's foot as well. Kind of fun, just kind of using all the cards. It's not super unique. Yeah, it can be a lot of fun using all the cards, but again, it's a very short run, very easy run. But it doesn't unlock SMB Superfan, which again, this item is very good. It's a very solid all stats up. So I put it in this category here. You don't have to do it right now, but you should do it. So next challenge here, challenge number 15, Slow Roll. So this is the very fast and easy run, to be honest. You're only going to mom's foot, but you start with Polyphemus, Cupid's Arrow, My Reflection. It's a very short, very easy run to do. And you also unlock Swallowed Penny with it as well. And Swallowed Penny can be very, very good to unlock. Using it on anybody, it's a good source of just getting money in. So I would recommend kind of getting it pretty early. Do you have to do it right now? No, but I definitely would do it pretty soon. All right, next up, challenge number 16, Computer Savvy. It's just another fun run. A lot of these runs here in this little section are just kind of fun runs to mess with and do. It does give you some unique synergies. It gives you homing tech 2 plus tech 1. You're only going to mom's foot as well, so it's a very short, very easy run. And you do actually unlock Robo Baby 2.0, which is a decent item to get. I mean, it helps for conjoined. That's really about it. So at the end of the day, it's kind of a mild unlock with a easy run to go through. So that's definitely right in the middle of mild there. Next challenge here is the Waka Waka challenge. This is the one where you have Anti-Grav plus Strange Attractor to start off and you're going to mom's foot. This one, again, a very short, pretty easy run. It can be a little confusing just getting used to using the combo of Anti-Grav and Strange Attractor because it is very weird. You can play it very funnily where you just hold down the fire button, have the enemies all just run through your shots, which is kind of fun to do. It's pretty easy. This one actually does unlock Death's Touch. Death's Touch is a really, really good item to unlock. I do recommend getting it pretty early on. Honestly, I'm going to be throwing this and doing this as soon as possible. It is a solid damage, solid piercing, so I would recommend getting it. All right, next up, challenge 18, the host. So the host is the one where you start with Mulligan and the Spider Baby start, which is the one wherever you get hit, you spawn spiders. You're only going to mom's foot. Again, this is just a very easy run. The only challenge with a lot of these runs is you don't have a treasure room. But with a lot of the starts they give you, especially something like this, where they just give you a pretty good consistent spawning of flies and spiders, it is pretty easy to get through, so there's no real challenge at all. This one actually unlocks Tech Point 5 as well. Tech Point 5, I think, is a really, really, really good item. I do recommend getting it early, just for the chance you get it in your runs. So yeah, let's go at the top of the list. Next up here, we got challenge number 19, the Family Man. So the Family Man is the one where you're blindfolded. You just have those 3 babies, Brother Bobby, Sister Maggie, and Dead Baby. You're going only to Isaac. I say only, but it is kind of a longer run. It's usually not too bad to use all the babies. To unlock this challenge, it is a little bit different from all these other runs because you do actually have to get both key pieces in a run to unlock this one for whatever reason. It is a little more complex to unlock than some of these other challenges, but it's really not that bad. But what the challenge unlocks is really good. It unlocks Epic Fetus. Epic Fetus is a really good item. The only issue with it is it doesn't have synergies, but if you're playing on PC where you can get some mods, there are some really good mods you can get to help out with that synergies issue with Epic Fetus, just to make it a little bit more fun. I would recommend doing this one pretty early if you have it. Yeah, but this one here, I would definitely throw it kind of in between mild and do it now. Just kind of do it whenever you can. Next up here, we got challenge number 20, Purist. This is the one where it's a literal normal run. Nothing is different about the run except you just don't have treasure rooms. I don't know why this is a challenge, but it is. It's not a problem. There's no struggle with the run at all. You just have less items, but if you know how to play the game to any degree, it's not a bad challenge at all. But you actually unlock Burkano. Burkano is an okay room. I may get some flack for where I threw it. Burkano can be okay. It just spawns spiders. It spawns flies. That's about it. At the end of the day, it is a pretty easy run to do. It unlocks something that's half okay. So I would definitely just throw it in mild. Do it if you want. Not the end of the day if you don't. Next up, challenge 21, XXXXXXXL. Alright, so this one, it's just a long run, to be honest. It's not hard. It's not a difficult run. It's just long. It's just annoying. It really just tests your patience on those early floors because they can just be so big and you don't do that much damage to start off with. It's not a hard thing to do. It's just a test of patience. But this one actually unlocks golden hearts, which golden hearts are okay. Don't get me wrong, they can be okay. They give you obviously more money whenever you get hit. But how often are you really using gold hearts after you get them unlocked? They're really just there. They don't help you at all. They don't give you an extra hit. So it's not the best thing to get. It's not the worst thing to get. It's very middle of the road, so that's exactly where it's going. Next up, challenge 22, speed. Oh lord. Everyone knows speed. 16 minutes, going to mom's heart. Everything's like double, triple speed. I don't know the speed. It gives me so much anxiety to do. I don't want to do it. And at the end of the day, you know what this unlocks? The get out of jail free card. Listen, don't get me wrong. The get out of jail free card can be okay. It unlocks the Mega Satan door. Wow, it unlocks other doors. But you know what it doesn't do? It doesn't unlock red rooms, which I think it would be really good if it did. The card isn't that good. The challenge is just a pain. There's no reason to do it unless you just love having anxiety in your life. So if you need a little bit, go for it. If not, don't touch it. There's no reason to. Just do it later. Don't do it now. There's no reason to. Get out of here. Next challenge here is Blue Bomber, challenge number 23. So this is the one where you're playing as Blue Baby, no red hearts, you have Pyromaniac, and you have the Kamikaze vest, the spacebar item. So you're basically just running around blowing things up. Very low range, which is the only struggle of this run. You do have Brother Bobby there as well, just in case there's something that's farther away. The game kind of helps you out with that, but really it's a very easy run to do. You're only going to, you're going to Satan. It's not super long of a run. It's not that hard either. Now what this unlocks, gold bombs. Gold bombs are crazy good to get. It can just help out immensely with whatever floor you find it on, no matter what floor. It is very good to have. It basically guarantees any secret room that floor, any super secret room that floor, most likely a crawl space on that floor as well. The challenge can be a little bit weird to do, but I do recommend doing it right away whenever you get it unlocked. Next up, we got challenge number 24, pay to play. So pay to play is the one where basically going to any new room costs 1 penny. You start with a whole bunch of money. Whenever you run out of money, you just die, which happens. You're going to Isaac, so make sure you have enough money to get there. You don't want to be spending money in shops all too often unless you find something cool like stopwatch. But most of the time, you're going to find money in every room you're going to go into, so it's not that big of a deal. It can be a little bit of a struggle to do, maybe, depending on like the seed you get, but it's not bad at all. But what this unlocks is, it's not all that good, because you unlock 2 new pills, the Perks pill and the Addicted pill. Perks makes it so you take half damage in whatever room you're in, so it's good on the later floors. The Addicted pill does the opposite, it makes you take more damage in the room you're in. You don't use these pills all too often, and honestly, they kind of just flood the pill pool, so you avoid getting the better pills whenever you can. Now, perks can be really good for the sacrifice rooms, but is it worth unlocking Addicted as well? I don't know. It's very middle of the road. So that being said, I would throw it in. Do it if you want. It's not high on the list to do at all. Next up here is challenge 25, have a heart. So this is the one where you have full 12 red hearts. None of them are full whenever you start. But you start with Charmer the Vampire, which basically makes it whenever you kill a certain amount of enemies, you get half of a heart back. and that's how they expect you to get, I guess, your health back. The weird thing with this run as well is you don't find hearts normally, and normal things that would heal you don't usually, unless you find the sun card, which is for some reason that's the one thing that can heal you. So with that being said, if you do find a sun card, this run is just over. You just have 12 hearts to play with for the entire run. You're only going to Mom's Heart. It's a very short run as well. Very easy run to do. Now what it unlocks, even though it's an easy run, it doesn't unlock the best things ever. It actually unlocks the relax pill and the question mark pill, which is the one that gives you Curse of the Maze pretty much for the floor. These pills, I don't think they're good. There's no reason for you to get these pills and actually want these pills at all. Relax, it gives you just poop. I mean, there's nothing good about that. It can give you what? A penny, maybe a soul heart if you're lucky, maybe an eternal heart if you're lucky. But are you going to be lucky? Probably not. Are you going to spend the time to actually shoot all the poops you spawn with relax? Probably not. So it's really not something you want to unlock. Is it the worst thing ever? I guess not, but it's not good. So it's going to go right there. Just don't do it unless you want to do it, you know? Next up, challenge number 26, I Rule. So this is the one where you have Mom's Knife to start. You have Mom's Knife, you have the Trinity Shield, and you have the ladder. It's the pseudo Legend of Zelda run before Spirit Sword came out. This one you're going to Mega Satan, so it is a pretty long run. Obviously, you need to have, well, you need to defeat Mega Satan initially to get this one unlocked alongside having the negative. So it is a little more to unlock this challenge here. And it can be a little bit of a struggle just because you are going to Mega Satan. So it is a bit of a longer run to do. But again, you do have Mom's Knife. So as long as you know how to slightly play around Knife, it is a fairly simple run to do. And if not, this could be a perfect scenario to learn how to use Knife. But what this challenge actually unlocks isn't that great. You unlock the Poker Chip Trinket. The Poker Chip Trinket is just kind of like the crooked penny of trinkets. You know, it's not good. It can be fun. It doubles the potential you can get from chests, but it doesn't double any potential items you get from chests, which is the one benefit Crooked Penny has, right? It's not that good of a trinket. I don't really recommend getting it unless you just like gambling for whatever reason with this, but it's not the best thing to do. It's not the best thing to get. The challenge is a little hard to do, so I definitely don't recommend doing it unless you really want to. So next up here, challenge number 27, Brains. So this one is icky, stinky, poopy, don't do it. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw it down here before I say anything else. So this one is the one where you have 3 Bob's Brains. You know how you do damage? You do damage with Bob's Brain. You can't shoot, you can't fire. You're just standing there waiting for them to respawn. But hey, the one benefit, you get the Bob transformation. Yippee. This is just an annoying run to do. It doesn't unlock anything good because I just put it here, but it unlocks Stud Finder. Which Stud Finder, I don't think I've ever used right. It is a cool thing to find. I don't even remember what it does at this point. But in my head, it doesn't outweigh the annoyance of having to do this run. So I really don't recommend doing it unless you just really like using Bob's Brain. But I don't think anybody likes using that item. If you do, please let me know in the comments. What am I doing wrong? What do you know that I don't? So that's going to the very bottom here. Don't touch it. Just don't touch it. There's no reason to. Next up here, we got challenge number 28, Pride Day. So this one here is when you start with Rainbow Baby. You have the Rainbow Worm Trinket and the $3 bill. So basically everything you're firing is going to be pretty random. But this one's going to Mom's Heart. It's honestly pretty short. It's a pretty fun run to do, honestly. It's just fun to have all those random shots do a whole bunch of damage when you're not expecting it to. It can be slightly annoying just with the Rainbow Worm Trinket, which you're actually not able to drop during this challenge. But again, it's not that hard to do. This one actually unlocks the D8. The D8 is a weird item. Most of the time, you're not going to be holding on for the entire run. Most of the time, you're going to pick it up, maybe use it if you're feeling like you're wanting to gamble, because it can give you a crazy damage multiplier up or a fire rate up. It kind of depends on how you like using the D8. If you want to use it, obviously get it unlocked. If you don't really use it that often, there's no reason for you to do this challenge, so just do it if you want. If you don't, not a big deal. Next up here, we got challenge number 29, Onan Streak. So this is the infamous challenge where you have chocolate milk, you play as Judas, and if you miss a shot, you take half a heart of damage. So just don't miss. But yeah, this challenge is a tough one because you have to be very accurate, and even when shooting fires and poops, it doesn't hurt you when you shoot fires or poops, but you better know when that fire or poop is about to go away, because if you shoot one more after, you're gonna get hit, which is very annoying to do. Tough run to do. It makes you really kind of rethink how to do things compared to everything else in Isaac and all the other challenges you do. It is rough, but this does unlock Kidney Stone. Now, Kidney Stone before Repentance, I would say is not that good. I don't really know what switched in my head to make me like Kidney Stone more. It may just be all the lazy Matman videos I've seen where he uses it and it looks crazy good. So that being said, do it. Like, probably you want to do it. Like, probably go do it. You don't have to do it, not right now, but like in a week or two, go do it. So next up here, we got challenge number 30, the Guardian. This is the one where you actually start off with the punching bag. That punching bag actually has Mom's Heart following it behind it. Protect the guy. You don't take any damage yourself, so you can just smash into things. You actually start with the Spear of Destiny. You start with the Holy Grail so you can fly. It is a very easy run to do. It can be a little bit of a struggle just to getting used to basically navigating and protecting your friend. Once you get used to that, it's a pretty fun run at the end of the day and pretty easy as well. It also unlocks both the blank rune and the clear rune. So both of these items are very good. Blank rune is arguably a very, very good rune. It can use runes you don't even have unlocked yet, which I learned recently. And clear rune is a decent spacebar item as well. It's not always the best, but it can be used for eventually whenever you unlock like the soul of Isaac and the soul of Maggie and other runes like that. It can pair with that pretty well. So I would throw it up. Not something you need to do right now, but like pretty soon you probably want to do it. Next up, a weird run. Challenge number 31, Backasswards. So this one is basically hold R the run. Now, if you're an authentic Isaac player and you never hold down R, this one is gonna be a struggle. And I hate to say it, but I'm that type of person. I hate holding down R just to get the best run I can. I like just kind of running with what I got. But this Backasswards challenge is so difficult if you don't do it by holding down R. It gives you, I think, 16 random items. You start at Mega Satan, you go backwards. You occasionally, whenever you go to a new floor, you lose an item. It is very rough. It's not an easy challenge, so I don't really recommend doing it based off the struggle factor. But if you're looking at it from what it unlocks, it's the same shit. It unlocks the shittiest thing known to man. You know, Lazarus, the character nobody really likes to play, he bleeds a little more whenever he gets hit. Wow, what a good unlock for such a weird challenge. Don't recommend doing this one. Don't touch it unless you just really want to see what kind of fun run you can get at the start of the challenge and just holding down R. I don't recommend doing this one really at all. Next up, we got challenge number 32, April Fools. This one, actually, I do like this run a lot. A lot of people don't like it, but I do think it can be very fun and very wacky. Being fun is not one of the criteria of my list here, but in my head, it is fun. So that's all that matters. But this one, actually, everything you think is going to happen doesn't happen. So all your spacebar items, whenever you use it, it just does something random. It's not going to do the spacebar you think it is. All the pickups you get also random as well. So if you pick up a coin, it could give you a heart. If you pick up a heart, it could give you a key. You know, it does random stuff like that. Nothing makes sense, which is kind of the charm of the run. And you're only going to Mom's Heart as well. So it is a pretty short run. It's a very fun run, very quick run. And the reward for doing it is actually pretty good too. Maggie holds a full health pill. I think they made it so in Repentance, though, the pill that Maggie gets from doing this challenge is a full health pill. I think before it wasn't a full health pill, it was just a random pill. But now that they made it a full health pill whenever Maggie starts with it, that's basically a guaranteed sacrifice room you can do. So I would recommend getting this one pretty early. It is a very good unlock. It's a okay challenge to do. Now, do you need to do it right now? Not really, just because it only helps Maggie. So it's do it eventually. Do it sooner rather than later, but no need to do it right now, but do it soon. Alright, next up we got challenge number 33, Pokemans. So this is the one where you actually start off with that Pokeball item whenever you use it. Instead of having to capture an enemy in the ball, you actually just spawn an enemy and you just go and pick it up. It's not hard at all. This is a pretty easy challenge. It's just a normal run, minus the treasure rooms, plus a whole bunch of friendly familiars you get. It is a very easy run to get through, and this one actually does reward you with charge keys whenever you beat it. Charge keys are a really good thing to get. They're not as good as gold bombs, which can just absolutely break everything, but they are a good item to have and to find. Just if you have any good spacebar item, it is very useful to get. I would recommend getting it. Not at the top of the priority, but it is a good thing to get. Next up, everyone knows it, everyone hates it, Ultra Hard, challenge number 34. So if you don't know, by whatever reason you don't, this is the run where everyone hates it. You get no heart pickups. Every enemy you find, it's going to be a champion variant. You're going to Mega Satan. You get no item rooms? No, I'm sorry. You do get item rooms at least. Wow, how great. But this one, it's rough. Getting the no heart drops, no soul hearts, no red hearts, no nothing. It is rough, dude. It is a very hold R run. If you don't like holding R, it is very rough. Even if you do like holding R, it is rough because you just have to play perfect. But you know what? You want to know the weirdest thing about this one? About this super hard challenge, you would think, oh, it's a really good challenge, gets you a really good unlock. No, it gives you one of the shittiest unlocks. Samson starts with the child heart trinket. That's just so bad. It's so bad. The child heart trinket isn't really even very good. And you know, at this point, you're done with all the Samson unlocks. Most likely at the point where you're doing this run specifically, you're done with Samson. There's no reason to play him. So why do you need him to have the child heart trinket? It's not a good run. It's not a fun run. It doesn't unlock anything good. Don't do it. Don't do it. If we boycott this challenge, it'll never bother us again. Yeah. Well, with that challenge out of the way, next one is PONG, challenge number 35. They're trying to make up for the ultra hard one, because this one is just more of a fun run. You have a big tier that bounces around the room. It does 100 damage flat. You just shoot a tier and run away until everything dies. It's a pretty easy run. It's a very fun run. It actually unlocks Greed's Gullet, which is an okay item. Now, don't get me wrong. Greed's Gullet is crazy on someone like the Keeper or the Tainted Keeper who has limited health because it can't actually up the amount of health they have. But on everyone else, it is kind of weird and awkward to use, if I'm being honest, because throughout the run, you're spending your money. So your health is going to continuously fluctuate going up and down, and it does kind of confuse me more than not, unless I'm remembering how to use it. So it's not the best item to get, so I'm going to throw it middle of the road. Do it if you want. It's not a big deal if you don't. The run is fun anyway, so it's not a problem. Next up, we got challenge number 36, Scat Man. So Scat Man is very similar to the second challenge here, Highbrow, where you are just the shit guy. But this one, you are the shit man because you have little shit children around you. So you start with Dirty Mind, you have BFFs, you have butt bombs, you have that poop item to spawn more dirty friends. It's a very simple to understand run, but it can be a little bit difficult because those little friendly dips, they follow you. They don't follow the enemies. They don't rush to them. So you have to kind of play around your dips in a weird way that you're not used to with a lot of the other familiars or items you have. So it is a little bit of a struggle to do initially, but whenever you start getting the hang of it and starting to understand how the little dips move around and how they do damage, it is a pretty easy run to do. With that being said, it's a little hard. It's not too bad, but it actually unlocks Dirty Mind as well, which is just unlocking the friendly dips. But it is a very middle of the road item. It's pretty decent. It's not the most game-changing thing to have on your account, but I do recommend getting it. Next up here, challenge number 37, Bloody Mary. So this one, it just kind of, it's very nerve-wracking. So this is the one where you start with Bethany, you start with Blood Oath. So at the start of every new floor, Blood Oath is going to take you down to 1/2 heart of health. And because you're Bethany, you cannot get soul hearts. So at the start of every floor, you're going to have 1 hit before you die. So you need to start accounting for that as soon as you can. Find hearts early, find cards that give you hearts or something that spawns you hearts at the start of a floor would be very nice to get. Otherwise, you will be bashing your head against the wall because you're dying so often. But yeah, with this challenge here, it actually unlocks one of, if not the best trinkets in the game, Sigil of Baphomet. Now, this trinket is absolutely insane. Now, compared to the challenge of doing this challenge, how much you struggle are going to do it, how to unlock it too, all that throwing out the window, the trinket is crazy good. It carries it. You have to do it now. Do it as soon as you can. As soon as you have the option to do the challenge, I would definitely recommend doing it. This trinket can save you so often than not, especially on lost runs, keeper runs, really any kind of run. It just prevents so much damage. So do it as soon as you can. As soon as you have it, you're going to sweat a little while doing it. But hey, it's worth it at the end of the day. Next up here, challenge number 38, Baptism by Fire. So this is another one where you're playing as Bethany, and obviously that means you're not getting any soul hearts. But this is the one where you start with Urn of Souls and Guppy's Paw. So obviously you're wanting to get soul hearts and use Guppy's Paw to get you more soul hearts so you can actually use your item Urn of Souls, because in this challenge Urn of Souls actually converts the soul hearts you get into charges you can use to bring out fires. So it is a bit of a struggle for me. I know a lot of people will kind of sweep through this one pretty easily because I know Urn of Souls can actually block shots as well, but it can be pretty difficult to kind of micromanage the amount of health you have, the amount of soul hearts you have, and making sure you're actually going to make it to the end of the run without just, giving up all your hearts with Guppy's Paw. You will be sweating a little bit on this run. It's not the actual worst thing ever, but it can be a little difficult. This one actually unlocks the Purgatory item as well. This is the Angel Room items. Whenever you step on those cracks, your little spirits come out and they attack things. It's a decent item to find. It's not the best thing out there, if I'm being honest. It's kind of near the middle of the road, if I'm being honest, but really there's no real reason to sweat that often for this one here, just for a kind of mild item. So definitely don't really do it unless you want to do it. Next up here, challenge number 39, Isaac's Awakening. So I mentioned it before in one of our earlier challenges, but this is the Legend of Zelda run. You have Spirit Sword, you have Trinity Shield, you have Mom's Bracelet, and you're going to the new Mother fight. I say new in quotes. I know it's been out for like 2 years at this point, but the newest Mother fight. So Spirit Sword, crazy item. It is very, very good. Again, the same kind of problem you have with a lot of these other really good items. Synergies are kind of lacking, which can make it kind of annoying. But at the end of the day, Spirit Sword is just a good item that does so much damage and pumps it out so well. This challenge isn't really much of a challenge if you're asking me. It can be a little bit of a struggle because I know the Mother fight is a bit weird to use with such short range, because I know her attacks, they spit out a lot of tears, so it's kind of hard to block all that correctly. Even with Trinity Shield, it can be a little bit of a struggle. I guess that's really the reason why it's kind of in the middle of the road when you're looking at it from the struggleability criteria here. But this one does unlock it, so you can have Spirit Sword in future runs. If it had a lot more synergies, I would honestly throw it up here and do it now. But since it doesn't, I would throw it kind of here. Do it soon, but you don't have to do it, Next up here, challenge number 40, Seeing Double. This is the one where you're playing as Jacob and Esau. Both of them have 20/20s. So basically you have 40/40 vision. It's crazy. But alongside that, I know one of them actually starts with X-ray specs as well, so you're going to find out every secret room. But the one gimmick of this challenge is every enemy in every room you go to is going to be doubled. every boss you go to is most likely going to be double trouble. That's really the only challenge here, is playing Jacob and Esau. I mean, you start with a whole bunch of damage. If you know how to play Jacob and Esau, it's a pretty simple run, if you ask me. It can be a little weird just because there are so many enemies, and some rooms aren't designed to have that many enemies, so it can be a bit hard to not take damage in some rooms. This one here actually unlocks it. Okay trinket, the broken glasses. So it is a decent trinket to find. It's not the best thing in the world. It's not the worst either. I would definitely throw it and do it if you want. If you want to do the challenge, go for it. If you want to get the trinket, go for it. But either way, it's okay. Next up, we got challenge number 41, Pica Run. So this is the one where you start with Mom's Box, you start with more trinkets, and you start with marbles. It's trinkets. You're playing with trinkets. Everything you get is trinkets. You get more trinkets, they get more trinkets. It's crazy. It's really kind of fun if you ask me. Again, fun isn't a criteria I'm going off of here, but it is a fun run. If you're taking anything into account there, it is fun. Now, the only thing to really note about the unlocks, I know I really haven't been talking about them too often for a lot of these other challenges, is you need to unlock marbles. But yeah, if you didn't know, marbles is a little bit of a struggle to actually unlock, because to unlock it, you need to use 5 gold pills in one run. It can be a bit of annoying to unlock, but at the end of the day, whenever you do unlock it, the run is very easy and actually pretty fun to do as well. But what this actually unlocks is you get another trinket called the Ice Cube. So the Ice Cube trinket is very, very good if you ask me. Whenever you go into a new room, there's a chance some of the enemies in there are kind of petrified, and if you kill them during that time, they turn into ice cubes, which you can then throw around, turn more things into ice. It is a very good trinket. The run is very good to do. It's kind of rough to unlock. I wouldn't really specifically try to get it or try to unlock it specifically to get this Ice Cube trinket. So I think it's kind of middle of the road where it is. If you do have it unlocked, go for it. But if you don't have the challenge unlocked just yet, there's no reason to really gun for it. It's very middle of the road. Do it if you want. If not, it's not a big deal. Challenge number 42, Hot Potato. I hate this run. I didn't throw it in the highest form of me struggling. I threw it and I'm sweating, because I am sweating whenever I'm doing this run, because I absolutely hate it. It can be very easy. Okay, but this is the run where you start as Tainted Forgotten, which blows up every X amount of seconds. I think every 3 seconds, 4 seconds, something like that. But you're Tainted Forgotten, and your only source of doing damage is your little bone buddy exploding and blowing things up. The only big issue I have with that is whenever he explodes, he jumps around, he moves. So you have basically no source of consistent damage, and you have to constantly be running in there, picking up and repositioning your guy to make him explode on the enemies you need him to. Now, don't even get me started with like small rooms with like a whole bunch of small enemies, because you're gonna get hit. It doesn't matter, you're gonna get hit. The only saving grace here is if you do find something like Pyromaniac, Host Hat, any kind of bomb and vulnerability things, the run is simple. It's so fucking easy at that point, because everything you do is explode. Okay, but what this actually unlocks, it unlocks the Reverse Chariot card. Isn't all that good if you ask me. It's the one where you become invulnerable in the statue. You get 4 times your fire rate for 10 seconds. It can be really good just to burst down a boss. So again, it's not bad. It's not the best thing ever. For the reward of doing this challenge, I really don't think you should do it or need to do it for this one. So this one's going kind of near the bottom here. Just don't do it unless you want to do it. So the next challenge here is challenge 43, Cantripped. So this one's kind of the opposite of the last run, where it's more of a fun, unique challenge. But this is the one where you're only going to Mom's Foot, so it's a very short run too. But you're actually playing as an alternate version of Tainted Cane. So instead of getting items, you get cards. And you can actually hold, I think at the start, you can hold up to 3 cards. But the cards you actually have are actually items. So whenever you use a card that is an item, you get that item for the room, which whenever you go into a new room, that goes away. It's a very fun run to do, and it actually unlocks the Reverse Justice card as well. Which if you don't know, that's the one that spawns 2 to 4 golden chests, which is very, very good. This should be going up here. You don't need to do it right away, but I do think it is a fun run to do. It is a very good item to get as well, so I do recommend doing it. Alright, next up, challenge number 44, Red Redemption. This is the one where you're playing as Tainted Jacob, and you have no idea where you're going. You start with red key, and you basically have no doors around you. You're using the red key to go and open up new rooms to try to find your way to the boss. So if you're asking me, it is a little bit of a struggle to do this challenge, because I know whenever you actually run out of charges in your red key, which will happen eventually, Esau will show up and try to fuck you up. So you just need to be playing around that, but other than that, it's kind of a fun run to do. You are going to Mother. It is a bit of a weird fight if you're not used to it. But this does unlock the Reverse Hermit card as well. And if you're not familiar, I know a lot of people don't use the Reverse Hermit. I don't think a lot of people knows what it does. But it actually kind of, quote unquote, sells items and pickups in the current room. So it basically turns all the pickups in the room into money. And at the end of the day, this is an okay challenge to do. I would definitely throw it up most likely here. Don't do it unless you really want to. I don't think it's the best thing to get. I don't think it's the worst thing either. Alright, well, last up here, we got challenge number 45, Delete This. So if you don't know, this is the challenge where every item you find is a glitched item or a TM trainered item. It is a very wacky and zany run. It can be very annoying, but in my opinion, it is a very fun run to do. Because honestly, you just don't know what's going to happen. You could pick up an item that makes you just spawn the trophy to end the game, which is crazy. Or you could pick up an item that makes it so whenever you walk into a new room, you just take damage. And I think the really cool thing about this specific challenge, it's very replayable. Even if you beat the run, it is very fun to go back in there and just do it again and see what happens. If you're just going for the unlock, it can be kind of hard just to win. But if you're going in there not trying to win and just having fun, it is a fun challenge to do. It does actually unlock the reverse temperance card. Now, what does the reverse temperance card do? It's the one that makes you eat 5 random pills. Wow. It's not a good thing to have. Most of the time, the 5 pills you use most likely will hurt you. Maybe you'll get 5 luck ups. Who knows? This one here, it's kind of middle of the road. It is a very fun challenge to do. The unlock is very but the challenge is fun. It's not that hard to do. So I would definitely just do it if you want. If not, not a big deal. This is the final list, you guys. I just went ahead and went through, kind of reorganized everything to kind of shift them around in terms of what I would do first. Top of the list being Perthrow, then Sigil, then Golden Bobs, and Yura. And then I'll go ahead and do Death Touch and Tech Point 5. I went ahead and did this for all the different categories here. But if you're looking at the top challenges to do first, I would definitely recommend doing those ones first. All the other ones y'all can take a look at, but I'm curious what y'all think. But hey, with that being said, thanks for sticking around, you guys. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.